be talking about mascaras to avoid. Now, to be clear, this is not a review. Okay, not a review of the best performing mascaras. This is for people who are trying to avoid synthetic chemicals, potentially harmful to us, as well as people who are trying to avoid their exposure to microplastics, synthetic chemicals, PEGs, and sulfates and other artificial ingredients, especially when it comes to around the eyes area. So this video is a request. It's a response to a request from one of the viewers. Her name was Frances Alvarez, and she asked on another video that I did called Eyeliners to Avoid, and she asked, can you do mascaras to avoid? And I also had one other person say, can you do one for lipsticks to avoid? So today we're going to be talking about mascaras to avoid based on those ingredients. So look, we are all exposed to synthetic chemicals, microplastics, sulfates, all kinds of different things that we're just unsuspecting of. It's in the water that we drink, it's in the air that we breathe, it's in our homes when they built our homes. There's all kinds of things that we are exposed to. So if you are trying to be conscious and trying to reduce your exposure to them, I'm going to be talking about, there's tons and tons of mascaras. If you just put into Amazon mascara for search, there's so many, it would be impossible to do reviews on them. But I did notice that certain ingredients came up over and over and over again. So instead of going through each and every one, we're going to go through worst offender based on ingredients list, not performance. We're going to also be talking about the best-selling mascara, as well as Amazon's choice of mascara. So the first one we're going to be talking about is the worst offender based on ingredients list. So the first one is, it has over 114,000 reviews and it has a 4.5 star rating. It's almost at 115,000 reviews as of this video being filmed. So it has a lot of reviews, and most people are happy with the way that this mascara performs. Now, some of the pros are, it's a fairly inexpensive mascara, but if you look at the ingredients, they should be not charging at all. If you're looking for an ingredients list that is free of, or at least lower in microplastics, sulfates, synthetic chemicals, PEGs, this one actually had pretty much all of them. So it's called the Maybelline, I wrote it down, Maybelline Lash Sensational Washable Mascara. So let's look over here and take a look at the ingredients list. And we're not going to go through every single one of them, but I do want to point out some of them that you may want to be aware of. Okay, so here we go. I wrote just some of the ingredients since I have a consultation that I have to do in about 20 minutes. So a lot of my videos are just like on the fly. Okay, so the third ingredient. Now I talked about this ingredient in the eyeliners to avoid, and that was the styrene acrylates ammonium methacrylate. This is water resistant. It's a film forming compound, and it's used in a lot of cosmetics for adhesion. Now, every time you see acrylates or some form of acrylates, you know that it's some type of like polymer or microplastic. Now, this is linked to eyes, throat, and skin irritations, and even it's possibly linked to some carcinogens. Or it's possibly linked to cancer, and they say it's a possible carcinogen. Now, styrene, this is the one that I mentioned. So the styrene acrylates ammonium methacrylate, it can have low levels of styrene, and the styrene is, this is a known carcinogen. Now, it's been linked and traced in soil, water, and air, and it's been linked to everything from fatigue, dizziness, drowsiness, and as far as cancers, blood-related cancers, kidney, so like what was it? Leukemia. It was leukemia. Lymphoma was one of them. Liver-related cancers, kidney-related cancers. So, and central nervous system-related injuries. So, I mean, I don't know if you want to be putting this in your eyes. Now, I'm not saying that it actually has styrene, but it can have low levels of styrene. Now, and then it has here polyurethane 35. That is a binding agent. Then ethylene vinyl acetate copolymer. Now, this is like a synthetic rubber, like it's like a film. It's a rubber of ethylene and vinyl. And basically, if you have like food packagings or plastic containers, it's got that like film over that. That's what that is. And it's also known as a food starch modifier. So for them to even be using that, I don't know why they would do that. Now, with high level exposure, it's pretty much the same thing as a lot of the other synthetic ingredients, that if you have long-term exposure, it's the whole fatigue, the dizziness, the lack of sleep, poor quality of sleep. The serious side effects, again, is going to be heart-related, liver-related, kidney-related, and it does affect the central nervous system as well. And this is what was interesting. This is one thing that I didn't know about it is that it's reactive and it's flammable and it can be an explosive. So be careful if you decide to use this. Make sure it completely dries. The toxicological properties have not been fully studied. So that's a little disconcerting. I mean, I understand that there's so many different synthetic chemicals that are being created that it is very difficult for them to keep up to study, and also as far as the long-term effects of how this affects humans, let alone, they usually experiment on animals first, right? So now the worst complaint of this mascara is basically, you saw over and over that it was clumpy or that it was dried out, that it was not the real product, that some people said that they bought the Maybelline at the drugstore and then when they bought it on Amazon, it was nothing like the product that they bought at the store. So, there could be an issue of diversion going on here, so I'm not really sure about that. Now, let's go on to our next one, which is the best-selling mascara. Now, the best-selling mascara, this one here is Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect. Now, this one also has 4.5 stars, and it has over 325,000 reviews. So that's actually quite impressive as well. So the good news about this mascara is it didn't have as many microplastics and sulfates and pegs as much as the one that we just previously mentioned. The bad news is it still has some, just not as many. And this one as well, I think, was actually reasonably priced. Okay, so if you look at the ingredients over here, I'm going to be talking about polybutene. This is a synthetic polymer. But you're going to see this in lip products and mascaras and sunscreens. So it's pretty common. The VP icosine copolymer. This is a film forming it's film forming to make your sunscreens water resistant, your eyeliners, and your mascara. So you're going to see that over and over as well, unless the mascara that you're using naturally is marketed as something as more natural. Now, this one is also in many products. I see this in many products. It's commonly used as a thickening agent, and it's the hydroxyethyl cellulose. It's in food packaging adhesives and coatings. So according to the people that gave it a 1-star review, the most common complaint, once again, was that it was very clumpy. And it smudged. So people didn't really like that. So the next one is Amazon's Choice. Now I'm not going to go, once I say an ingredient, I'm not going to repeat it over and over. So this one's Amazon Choice. Now this one here is L'Oreal Paris Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara. This is also a 4.5 star. This one has a combination of some microplastics, and I'm going to highlight those, waxes, and hydrogenated oils. Now this mascara is the only one that I have tried, and I found it to be kind of smudgy, so I didn't really prefer that. But you know, some people like this one. Now this, as of the 1-star reviewed, quite a few complained that they were convinced it was not the true L'Oreal product, that it was dried out or it was clumpy. Now I found that it was clumpy, and when you took it out, like big clumps would come out, and so you'd have to smudge it, you know, off, and it was really hard to work with. So my personal experience with this was I was not really happy with that. Now, if you start looking at just a few of the mascaras and looking at their ingredients list, you're going to notice over and over some of the same ingredients that are being used. Maybe they're not in the same exact order, but it's basically a formulation that is a combination of thickeners, color, obviously, conditioning agents, waxes, oils, copolymers or microplastics, and just synthetic ingredients. You're just going to see that. It just depends on what type of formulation that you're looking for. Obviously, if you're looking for a mascara that is more thickening and, you know, versus lengthening, you're going to see different ingredients for that. But you're basically going to see that unless you are looking for mascara that's more for sensitive eyes or with more natural ingredients. So this is what I did. I ordered, after looking at quite a few mascaras that touted that they were actually natural. Some of them I wouldn't say that, I wouldn't consider them to be natural, but I ordered I think 2 of them, and actually while I was filming I got a notification that it was delivered. So let's go check it out and see what kind of mascara this is. So we're going to now be talking about some different options if you are concerned about what you're putting on or near your eyes.